this computer. So you're like, wait a second, I could leave Chris's and go to somebody else's live. That's totally fine with me. But we'll record on this one. I forgot the first one this morning. Christine and I were talking. And then, yeah, Rick is presenting and Luke is presenting as well. So, send a text message right now, Christina, to make sure Luke is recording. Okay.
Okay. I can just pop in and make sure I should. Just give me a sec.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine. Okay. All right. So let's get started. We're talking about leveraging tools in Canvas. This is the LTI way. I'm a big fan of Star Wars and the Mandalorian series. If you've never watched it, it's probably a good time to start watching Star Wars. It's just great. So that's kind of when I use that terminology. This is the way. So real quickly, Christina's going to come back and join us in just a moment. But my name is Chris. Been the Canvas administrator, the admin for this district for Beaverton for 5 years. Taught in the classroom for 17 years before that, and have been in education for, I think, 24. I did put my email down. If you do want to connect afterward, that's totally fine. Christina, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Christina Schultz. I am a library instructional technology TOSA for Westview High School in Beaverton. I've been doing that for the last 5 years. And I've been teaching for 15, 16 years as well, primarily language arts in high schools. So I've been working with teachers to really integrate technology into the classroom.
Yay. Yep. Okay. All right. Again, this is going to be one of those barn burning sessions where like it's 30 minutes or so, because Christine and I are both involved in this other thing that we're doing. So I apologize if it sounds like, oh my gosh, he just talks a mile a minute. I do naturally, but then I also feel like we're kind of in a crunch as well. So I apologize. And the link to the session should be there. We did our best to put links where we felt like it was necessary, but Christine and I are happy to share other links as well. Where we're going, what's an LTI? Why are they so rad? And we'll check out some of the LTIs. Now, in full transparency, well, first of all, we'll talk about LTI. Learning Tool Interoperability is basically, it's a mouthful, but that's what the LTI stands for. And then if you see this little icon, that means there's a link. So we did our best to put a link to how that is set up or more information, just so you know. So that's why you might see that icon. We put the links in there as much as we possibly can. And yes, to clarify, that's a Mandalorian mask. Christina was asking me what in the world it was. She could ask me questions about like Minecraft and I probably wouldn't have a clue. So it just depends on what you're into. So, not impressed. That's what our goal is to do our best. We're going to do better on this session to kind of give you some things that you hopefully can walk away from. I will tell you in full transparency, some of these tools are paid for. Some of these tools are free. So, and you'll see a little symbol with money on it. I need to tell you that because I don't want you to walk away going, Chris, so we could be able to use this or that. I hope you can, but your district in some cases might need to purchase this. And so I'm not advocating that you, not advocating spending money, but I'm just telling you up front in full transparency, some of these things cost money. So,
or it might be something that you could advocate with your district too.
Oh, 100%. Christina and I have gone to bat together on advocating for some of these tools because they are what we think are essential and valuable. So learning tool interoperability, the best way I think about it is if you think about Lego. Christina's like, what? Earlier, we were talking earlier about this. Basically,
you actually said you were right.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, if you think about when you're a little child, like my kids only had Lego. We did not have the Duplo. Some families have Duplo and Lego. Take it to the next level. You can actually put Lego and Duplo together and actually connect them and actually make something with them. So if you think about a tool, an LTI tool is a tool that can basically connect, bolt on, be part of the Canvas ecosystem in a way that a student shouldn't experience too much frustration. Oh, I have to have there shouldn't be an extra login. There shouldn't have to be too many jumps or hoops to jump through. So the goal is the integration into the Canvas ecosystem, the learning ecosystem of the student should be hopefully seamless for you and for the student. And that's the reason why we talk about LTIs, why they're so rad, because it's not just a website you send kids to, it's hopefully something that they're engaging in and they're doing it in Canvas. So.
And many times if they're working correctly, kids don't even know they went someplace else. It just is seamlessly embedded into Canvas.
Yeah, not everything. I mean, I don't want to get into the details, but not every single tool that's an LTI operates at the same level. Just like you can't say every car is the same. A Mercedes-Benz is not the same as a Yugo. They both have 4 wheels, but they're not the same. So some of these tools are beautifully fit. LTI 2.0, they fit well, they do well, but some are just a click to the website. Book Creator is a perfect example. That's why it's not listed here. Book
I
Creator
think you
is literally
tilted
just
your hand about being Canadian there with the Yugo reference. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. I could have said K car if you're from Canada, because you would have totally got that in a second, because we had K cars in Canada. Okay, a little bit of admin of processing. Some of these tools a teacher can do on themselves. We'll talk about which one they are. Some your administrator has to do it. A key and secret is the terminology that's used, meaning it's what allows Canvas and the tool to shake hands. You have permission to use the tool, and you have permission to send data from Canvas to the tool, from the tool back to Canvas. And that's kind of like, it's basically like, just think about your lock to your house, right? Christina might have a lock to my door because she can get in and she might have to do things. But if I don't want Christina going into all the doors, obviously different keys. So a key and secret allows that handshake between Canvas and those tools. Most applications, most tools can be found on this website. Again, it's linked. This is basically this is basically what you're seeing now are all the tools in Canvas that you could have access to as a classroom teacher to add. Again, some you can add no problem. Some require a paid version. So.
And just to be clear, the page he's showing you is under settings on any of your Canvas pages. So if you go under settings and then click on apps on the tab on the top, those are what he's referring to.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you said that. So if I just go to my course and I click on settings in the bottom left-hand corner, and at the top it'll say apps. Every single teacher can do just this. Click on settings and go to apps. Every teacher can do that. And you can see, oh my gosh, there's so many of them. I don't know every single one of them, but I know the ones we're talking about today. And you can kind of say, oh, I wonder if I can install this. Again, some require paid version, some require a district level admin. The ones we're talking about today. And you can also go ahead.
See which ones are installed already. So
yes.
On that, right, that screen right there.
Yeah, right here where it says installed. And so these are the ones that are already installed as well. So,
yeah.
Or if I click on app configuration, this is all the ones that are installed in our entire district. And if they have a lock on it, it means I personally did it for our teachers. So that's what the lock stands for. It means a teacher cannot change or edit or do anything different. If there's no lock on it, that means the teacher can go ahead and you might have installed it yourself. And that's what that means. We don't want to make this too technical, but unfortunately, some of it is. I mean, that's just right, Christina, some of it is technical. So, and feel free to just unmute, question, throw it in there, scream, yell, whatever. We're okay with that. So the whole point of this is why we kind of alluded to this morning, the student experience is changing. Our conversation yesterday, I'm going to get in trouble. If you're a classroom teacher and your students have been at home learning from the couch or the mall or Starbucks all year, okay, and now they come back to the classroom face-to-face this fall and they have to sit at a desk all day, they might begin to wonder, wait a second, during the pandemic, I could go to Starbucks and sit in class, or I could be on the way to the mall, but now I'm in the physical classroom and it may not be fun. So the point is the student experience is changing. Let's try to use some tools, applications, and processes to make that engaging happen. So that was our conversation yesterday. I have a friend teacher who teaches in Tucson. He's like, dude, half my kids are at the mall. The other half are on vacation somewhere. The other half are on their couch underneath their blankets. So, and as a teacher or as a person who's been working from home, I kind of enjoyed it too. I mean, I can't deny that, right?
We just had that conversation this morning. Just how can we make the classroom entertaining so that you're not just doing a lecture, if you're a lecture type teacher, for 40, 50 minutes. If kids were used to getting up and going to the bathroom, getting a snack during that.
Yeah, I totally, seriously, that's awesome. I think that's such a great conversation. So first one we're talking about is WeVideo. Christina's gonna take this one away.
Yeah, so, and I might share my screen if that's
absolutely.
all right. Okay, so WeVideo, if you have never used it before, is very much like iMovie or any of the movie generating programs. Oh, of course, as soon as I go away, it's gone. Anyway, so students can create robust videos and movies using WeVideo. They have a whole bunch of templates, especially with the Pro account, so that is one of the differences. In Canvas, one of the ways that it looks is you can have WeVideo right on the side. So I have my son's account up, and if you have WeVideo on the side, it just pops directly in here. They can pop it into a full screen if they want to. So it looks like that, of course, just timed out. But it's a full editing suite where they can create, they have green screens, they have templates, they can create all kinds of stuff. This is a fun video my son apparently made of him being the Statue of Liberty. And additionally, when they're done, because it's an integration, if he clicks finish right here, what you'll see is there's a Canvas icon, so they can save any of those videos directly to Google Drive, or they can save them to Canvas. And what's nice about that is right here, it says which assignment. I called that assignment WeVideo. If I say okay, there it goes. On my end of things, what that looks like is you can see the WeVideo submission in SpeedGrader. It'll show up right here, and then I'd be able to watch it and see those assignments in real time. So one of the great things for students is instead of having to go log into a separate application, instead of having to have a pop-out screen or a different tab or whatever, everything that's happening in WeVideo happens directly inside of their portal, and they can even collaborate in some of the applications, building a video with other students. Stop sharing screen real quick, Chris, and see if we covered everything that was in our slide deck.
Yeah, no, I feel like we've done, I think that was fantastic. And, you know, we kind of want to like have some, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Oh, I'll share my screen again just a second.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. I'll do the slide deck.
Yeah. So we want to be able to just kind of give a chance to, we've got a lot of these. We're not going to go through them all. It's just not going to be possible, but we do want to give people the opportunity to ask questions. The SpeedGrader functionality is so important with LTIs. Yeah, Kristen's 100% spot on. I mean, that's one of the reasons why some of these tools we're highlighting is because a student can submit to you to Canvas. You open up your SpeedGrader and there it is, and you can give a score and feedback. So in other words, I don't have to go to another website. I don't have to log into WeVideo and look at my submissions for my students. I can go into Canvas. You can submit to me in Canvas. That's why the icon that you see right there where it says literally click, export, hit submit to Canvas, and then it comes into Canvas. So that is an incredibly important function. That's one of the reasons why these LTIs are so rad.
And one of the things about WeVideo, just to mention on the side note as well, WeVideo not only does videos, which is pretty awesome, and they just have a ton of templates, like I said, so students can, there's preloaded videos that they can create. They can also just create audio recordings and podcasts, or they can create memes. And so if you have a student just really quickly wanting to give a touch base and some feedback to you, you can ask them to make a meme, and in 2 seconds, they can pop that into a Canvas discussion or into an assignment. So do we want to stop there and ask any questions, Chris?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions about WeVideo, if not, we can keep going. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one that we were going to look at is Adobe Spark. So Adobe Spark is free. It also has stunning, amazing designs. So kind of show you what Adobe Spark looks like for kids. One of the great things about the integration with Adobe Spark in Canvas is you can actually set up a template for students. So Adobe Spark is, there's minimally three different kinds of things you can do with Adobe Spark. They can create web pages, they can create graphic images, so infograms or infographics or different kinds of graphic images. And then the video is kind of a hybrid. It's not necessarily a video, but it's sort of like a PowerPoint presentation that has images, and then they can record their voice over it. So it's very simple, very easy to use. So you can set up an example copy of that for your students, and that's what I did here. And then when they click on it, it makes a copy for them. And when that copy is made, they can open it. It has the preloaded templates, etc. And then when they click share, it gives them that option to turn it into Canvas right away. So for students, that's a really easy thing. It does open in a separate window, but on the other hand, it gives them that really quick access to turn it into Canvas. And when they do so, it'll say exactly what assignment it turns into.
And like we mentioned, because this is free, every school district in Oregon, if you have not asked for Adobe Spark, can. I mean, it is a free LTI application that teachers can use. And I think students get like 2 or so gigs of storage. And And then again, like you're seeing right there, that's the beauty of it. And if Christina just clicks on the link, I mean, it is a click. I got to click on the link,
It
but once you
should
click on the
open
link,
here in a second.
yeah, once
It's
you
just
click
going
on the link,
slow.
then that submission does come in through SpeakWriter, and so that allows this teacher to go ahead and give feedback.
Right.
We've had a little bit of, I think, slowness with Adobe Spark, but it is one that can be used. So,
Right. I'm passing it back to you so you can do the next step.
oh, killer. Okay. Hold on.
My Cami wasn't one is until the end.
That's all right. Okay. So again, questions, throw them in there for me if you want. Valerie says, PPS here, we can't see it in Canvas settings and apps, but kids can submit links online. Yeah, that's true too. And I'm not quite sure if you're talking about Canvas, sorry, Adobe Spark or WeVideo. If you're using WeVideo, you have to create an assignment first. Students have to click on WeVideo in Canvas. That's what says, hey, I'm using it in Canvas, and then allows that a submission to that assignment to be done. Adobe Spark, it has to be an assignment in Canvas and using Adobe Spark as well. Adobe Spark isn't one of our lists. Yeah, I say reach out right is today and find out who in your district can go ahead. And matter of fact, I think if I'm correct, let me double check here, but this instruction, I'm going to copy this right now. These should be the instructions for Adobe Spark to getting it. It's free, like I said. Districts don't have to. We already signed a student DPA, so it's already student privacy signed with Adobe Spark, so that's done. You're like, Beaverton's done it already, did all the hard work for us already, and then just getting your district to set up. And there's 2 steps. How do students authenticate, which is why I need IT to help, and then getting your Canvas admin to get that connected into Canvas so that Adobe Spark works in Canvas. So that's why there's no $ next to this one, because it is a free and a fantastic tool. Formative is a $ tool. It does require a purchase of a pro account in order for you to have the integration into Canvas. Students can submit to formative if you don't know what formative looks like. Basically, it allows students to respond to questions in live time. Teachers can see how they're doing and give them feedback in live time. Where that connection piece comes in is a teacher can create a formative and it shows up in Canvas. There it is. So the picture you see right there, that formative assignment, the task that I want my students to do, I gave an assignment. It shows up in Canvas so students can complete it. And then the beauty of it is I can actually pass back to Canvas a value, a score value to Canvas from formative if I want to. I was just going to say something and I totally forgot. So anyway, so again, formative for this full integration does require a paid version. You can use the free version if you want to as a classroom teacher. You're just not going to get that integration where it says formative is submitted to Canvas through SpeedGrader, and I can see the scores. The difference, if I don't have the paid version, I'm grading it informative. I'm giving a value of informative, and I have to come back to Canvas and do something else, and maybe even synergy. So that's where we talk about true LTI. I don't have 3 platforms. I have Canvas and I have Synergy, which I always have to use as a classroom teacher. So I was going to say something and I forgot and I apologize. So I'm just going to keep moving on. I don't remember what I was going to say. But any questions? Again, we put this slide up so you can ask a question. If we go past it and you're like, oh, I got a question, just interrupt. It's totally fine. Christina is used to me interrupting me, or she's used to me interrupting her when she's talking. So I'm okay with you guys interrupting me. But yeah, there's way more. I mean, we have a lot more to share. So let's move on. Studio, is this me, Christina, or you? I think it is me.
It's you.
Okay, a $ again, because with Canvas Studio, your district has to purchase it. WeVideo has to be purchased as far as the integration. You can still use the free version of WeVideo. Your students can still submit to you the URL from their video. So that's still okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that the difference between that is that integration. With Canvas Studio, you have to have a paid version. You don't have an option. There's really no other way around it. And again, the beauty of Studio is it's integrated in Canvas. You can create 3 different question types. You can quiz your students. Your students can write comments on the video and engage them. So it is pretty good. Other LTIs for math that you'd recommend? Formative is the big one. That's the one that we talked about earlier, that formative is a fantastic tool. And there is another math LTI tool. In the top of my head, I don't have it, but I will try to remember it if I can. Desmos does work your students could log in, but I do not believe there's an actual integration of Desmos in Canvas, but you can actually have your students do work in Desmos. So, and they can submit the link to you in Canvas if you want to see that as well. So again, do the work in Desmos, create an assignment where the students submit the URL and they can submit to you in Canvas. So that's totally doable. As far as Studio, again, the reason why we like it is because you can ask question types, you can engage students in watching a video, intentionally get them engaged in the video, they can add comments. You can see also that in SpeedGrader, I can go ahead and have students submit a video if they want to, and then there is a rubric that you can attach as well. But again, it is a paid version, so. Yeah, I've been talking with teachers about embedding Desmos and other ones, just wondering, yeah, and I don't know off the top of my head about Desmos, but I'm happy to look for it in a few minutes for sure. Questions, let us know, please, if you have any questions. Turnitin is the next one, and we love Turnitin. If you're a high school teacher and well, if you're a middle school or high school teacher and you can't stand plagiarism, Turnitin is a fantastic tool because basically students can submit to you a written paper, an essay, even a response, and then you can make Turnitin part of that process. And so when Turnitin will just crawl the entire world's websites and tell you instantly, is there a plagiarism on the student's work? What percentage of the work did they plagiarize? And I also love Turnitin because there's also a grammar check and a spell check. So it's not just about catching a student cheating. In my opinion, the real beauty of Turnitin is letting my students look at the similar report, letting them know what it looks like, what it means, and leveraging the spelling and grammar that come with Turnitin and letting students do the revisions on their own. We shouldn't be using Turnitin only at the end of the assessment of turning in. I think you let students do it at the beginning and let them use that to help them revise their work. So, and then again, this is a paid version, and the admins do have to set it up. And you can see on this screen right here where it gives you a percentage. So in this case, 97%. The student totally plagiarized everything. And when you click on it, it'll actually tell you where it came from. So you can see where the student has potentially plagiarized or where they got that information. And Christina, thanks for showing that in there. That's awesome.
No, it went to the wrong thing. I have some math stuff that I was going to toss in there, but it's not. My computer is bogging out.
Cool. And then the last thing I want to mention with Turnitin is they have what's called Draft Coach. It's free. It's part of Turnitin, which basically means if a student is in Google Docs writing an essay or writing a response or doing a research paper or a lab, they can go up to the add-ons and click Draft Coach, and it'll automatically scour their Google Doc for plagiarism for them before they even submit it to you. So that's why I love this feature of Turnitin is they also have that extra feature. Yeah, go ahead, my friend.
Quick question. So I know that when you set up an assignment, it says that there's like, what kind of submission do you want? Mm-hmm. So if the submission is, let's say they get their own copy of a Google Drive or a Google Doc,
yeah,
can you also then select like the Turnitin so that you've got multiple things that it's passing through?
No, great question. So unfortunately, when you create an assignment in Canvas, that's a great question. If you're going to give them like, hey, I'm giving you a force make a copy. And so you create the assignment and you say, I'm going to give you it as an external tool and I'm going to use Google Docs or Google Cloud. So some of you probably have the Google Cloud setups. In our district, we have both. So you have both Google Cloud and then you also have the LTI. So in this case, you only get, that's all you get. The students get a copy. There's no other type of submission with that. However, if it's really important that they turn in to you and you leverage Turnitin, in my opinion, I would put up here the copy. I would put up here the forced copy link up here in this space. And then I would come down here and I would make it to be in submission, as long as it's minimally text entry, but you can do file upload or website URL. I do them all. You'll notice right here where it says plagiarism review. So to answer your question, if you just want them to have a copy and you're using the external tool, it doesn't let you use Turnitin at the same time. But if it's like, hey guys, here's a copy, go do your writing and then submit it, I would, if it were me, I'd put the link up here in the instruction. Does that help or does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Awesome. Good question. And pro note for all of you at home, if you want to add a rubric to an assignment where you're using an external document, if you want to add a rubric, you have to do assignment first, then rubric, then external tool. If you do it in that order, you can add a rubric to any tool that you're using as an external tool, but it has to be done in that order. Because once I save this, I'll just hit save. Once I save it down below and it's an external tool, there wasn't a rubric, but because I just made it as an assignment first, I can add a rubric. So, okay. Okay, Cami. Christine, this is you or me?
Oh, sorry.
You,
That's
right?
Tammy's me. Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking for a math thing. I have a really great math tool, but I didn't find all of them. But due to math, I put the due to math in there because it's fun. Okay, Cami. Sorry. Let me get my screen share up. So Cami is really awesome. Students are able to annotate on PDFs, and it is a integration that works well. So what you can do is you can have a document. I just was in a different session and somebody was asking, how does Cami work? How do I make sure that students aren't writing on mine? If you do it as an external tool, every time the student signs in, they have their own copy and it does save in a folder. So it's kind of nice because my husband and I were just talking about the architecture of Google Drive and how students don't really understand that. So they can see that architecture, and it would be under your, there'd be a folder that is created for your class, and then with the assignment name, and then that's where your their assignment would be. For them, they would see all of the tools directly in the window, so they can write on any assignment, they can insert text, they can do highlighting, they can have text to speech, especially if you have the pro version. And they have the ability to do signatures and math components, etc. And then all they have to do is just click the submit button and off it goes to you. On your end, it looks like when you get it in SpeedGrader, you can see everything, and there is an option when you make the assignment to see any of those annotations in real time. So you can just be clicking through all of your students and see exactly what they're doing even before they hit the submit button. And then you can write back. So if you notice down here, there's an icon. I don't know if the Zoom toolbar is blocking it, but there's an icon that says C and there's an icon that says Z. So I'm on the same document as my student, and I can give them feedback. I can write on their assignment, and I can say, maybe you need to do a little something else, and that will show up for them. So one of the great things about annotation, whether or not you're a language arts teacher, a math teacher, etc., is really making sure that students are understanding that work as they're going. So you can set up that assignment for students, and they would be able to see it within their learning management system. And if you notice over here, this is my student's assignment. He sees everything that I just did. So back and forth sharing like that works with Cami.
You know, and teachers can use the free version of Cami. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. What you get with that extra paid version is that full integration where you can create your assignment. Again, like we had mentioned in the beginning, the assignments in Canvas, the students can do the work right there. They can literally hit submit. It'll come right to you as a classroom teacher. And so again, you can look it up in SpeedGrader. So some of these tools, that's the extra advantage. And unfortunately, like we saw during the pandemic, some of these tools were offering everything for free. But when the pandemic was kind of going to the end, they're like, oh, well, if you still want us, you got to pay for the pro version. And that has happened. I mean, Cami is one of those tools. We love it. We're purchasing it this year because we felt like there was a need. Even though Canvas has an annotation tool now, right now, if you're aware of that, but there isn't a way to students to annotate in Canvas now. I don't think it's quite ready for prime time, but it is available on Canvas. So.
Right. And another thing that I've talked to teachers about as well is really having students understand, this is one of those back-end things that we don't often have a chance to address, is the fact that they don't know how to use Google Drive effectively. And so everything that you see in a student's Google Drive is usually untitled and just in My Drive. And so when they're looking for an assignment, that is one of those stopgaps and barriers for them, is how do they know what to turn in? Are they turning in the wrong thing? So sometimes using an LTI that creates that folder that does the naming culture for them, so it puts their name on it, etc., models great practice for them. And when they go to their Google Drive, they're like, oh, look how much easier it is that it's actually in a folder. And so some of my teachers have the first assignment be through the LTI, where they can create the assignment, students can interact with it, etc. And then they might turn in that self-same assignment a second time but they just have to, like if they're adding to it, etc., go find it in the folder and see and make sure that they are walking through those processes and really understanding how that Google Drive works. Is there
And then, yeah, Christina, I don't know if you have one or not.
How this works with Google Drive? You mean how they find it in Google Drive? I have one for Cami. Let me check.
You do.
I just know that like a lot of times my students will say, I started this, but I didn't submit it, and now it's going to make me start over. I'm like, no, it's not. But again, it's because they don't know how to search their own Google Drive for those assignments. And I'm just wondering, instead of me having to create one, if there's already some kind of tutorial for students.
I don't have one. Christina might. Christina and I like to make GIFs of shortened video, and then we collect them all in a Google slide. But I definitely agree. That's the biggest one. Like when you use the Google LTI, it should make a folder, right? And in that folder should be your course, and in that folder of your course should be the assignment folder. So it should be organized that way. But if you haven't been using Canvas for a while, we're not used to it. We're just used to going to Google Drive and trying to find it. So yeah. And that's where I think the benefit to Cami is it does create that architecture for you. So.
And so I'll just pop in. I have a playlist of
Awesome.
like a cajillion videos. So when I'm looking for something, sometimes you make too many things. I'll also just put in my newsletter. It has, sadly, because I can't help myself, it has 44 pages. But there is a thing on the side, and you can just search through it, and it would have information about Adobe. It has information about Cami. It has a whole bunch of links to other stuff, and it should be open to everybody at any time. Oh, Rick had a video in his, Rick is awesome. So, and I even have links to Rick's playlists in my newsletter.
Yeah, so there we go, perfect. Awesome. Okay, Newsela, again, another paid version, fantastic tool for articles, leveled articles that student ability to read, because during Lexile, a lot of those articles can be found in Spanish as well. The beauty of Newsela is that you can assign, here's the beauty of WeVideo and some of these videos in Newsela. The beauty of these LTIs is this: I can create a Canvas assignment. It has a due date, shows up in the student's calendar, and tells them when it's due, and then they can actually go do that task, and then they could submit it to me. So in Newsela, I can just create an assignment or create an article. I don't have to technically use Canvas. That is true. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I want my students to be aware of when there's a due date for that Newsela task, or even the Adobe task, then I can create a Canvas assignment, attach Newsela to it as an external tool. Students can complete the work, and then that can be submitted and turned into Canvas to SpeakEditor. Newsela, you may not want to do it through SpeakEditor because it might be just, I just need you to complete the work. And so I create a Canvas assignment for that reason. But that is another example of a tool that has this integration where students don't have to have a separate login, and they don't have to go to a different website if they don't want to. They can see that information here. Yeah. And so 100% agree with Kristen is that the SpeakEditor integration with Newsela is very valuable. And that was something that when we adopted it 3 years ago, we had the folks from Newsela come into our district constantly to make sure this was going to work for them. All right. And then Google Drive. I mean, you want to take that, Christina?
Oh, I thought you were. I can. So Google Drive is really awesome. There's an integration. It works on 2 different levels in Canvas. The first level is you can use anything from Google with the LTI in the directions. And so you can show students exactly what you want. It'll embed directly, and you can see that. On the second way, you can have it so that it makes a copy just like in Google Classroom. So they have that assignment, and you can see it in SpeedGrader. It shows up, and great site. And so Luke and I were just talking about this too. Anyway, so they can submit that assignment, and you can annotate and edit as well. So it works really seamlessly, and it's what everybody wanted when they were moving from Google Classroom to Canvas.
Yeah, it was a big thing. And then I have a link down below where it's Microsoft and Canvas is working together to get their Microsoft OneDrive integration done with Word and all that. So it's gonna be very similar. That's the link to it, just to show you. And we have also created just for folks, because we like to do extra things. if you go to the Canvas community, there is a section down below where we've spent some time comparing the two. Sorry about that right here. So we spent some time comparing the two between OneDrive. This was us doing this work. It is more robust. There is a better link to it, and I can get that for you. But basically, we've spent some time comparing the two applications between Google and OneDrive. So, oh wait, actually, no, apologize. Here it was right here. This was it. That was the comparison. Talking about Google 365, the new integration that's coming if you're a district that uses Microsoft, or in our district, we use both. And what does that do, and what does it allow for students and teachers? So, and honestly, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, one of the things that we do in our district is we use modules. And so one of our teachers was just asking recently, how can you have the students do the exact same assignment over and over again, or just add to it? So we use, for example, slide decks as, I'm blanking on the name for it. What does Thorpe do? They do the notebooks, the online notebooks.
Oh, okay. Like a digital binder or
yeah, there you go, the digital binder, the digital notebook. And so what they do is they did the integration. It creates the make a copy. It makes the folder for them. It does all that stuff, and then you can just link back to that assignment, and so they can continue to add on that exact same assignment over and over and over again. You don't have to recreate it. They don't have to make a separate copy, and in that way, students can still use the same thing, or you can also have them go to Google Drive, see the architecture, understand the organization, and then turn in that link if you want them to submit it in the final analysis. So there's two different ways of going about that, and some teachers have rationales and reasons for doing both, but it does kind of set that up nicely for them.
And pro tip, if you really want to go crazy, you can actually make a Canvas collaboration, use a Google slide deck, create it for your groups, and actually add to it, so they each get extra. Like you're like, oh, this week I'm putting an extra slide on there. You can do that. Right. It's kind of mind blowing, but you can do that. So
the only thing about doing like a cajillion slides is it does take a long time to look at.
We did want to talk about Flipgrid. I mean, in our district, it's kind of like frowned upon because they haven't signed the student privacy agreement for the entire country. So technically, you know, it's not been signed. But anyway, some districts get away with using Flipgrid by having the parents sign off. Hey, this is the tools we're using. Flipgrid is owned by Microsoft, so we really do question why it's not been signed. We don't really know. But Flipgrid is a tool that teachers can set up on their own at their own course level. It's beautiful because there is that safety feature. And you've got, if anybody in this space wants to give a thumbs up to them using it, that's totally awesome. Go ahead and do a thumbs up. But it has a really nice secure feature. I mean, you can't get to your Flipgrid unless you've gone to the Canvas course, and then you can engage yourself in the Flipgrid. So I like that extra security. And then as far as the submission, again, I can create the assignment where my students have a due date in Canvas, and the task is the Flipgrid as task. They can submit it, and it comes right to SpeedGrader. So again, that beauty of, I don't have to go to Flipgrid to quote, grade it if I want to, or just find out, did Christina even submit her work on Flipgrid? You could go to Flipgrid and go check it out. You'd have to scour it, or I could just go to SpeedGrader and go, oh, Christina's name, boom, she turned it in or she did not. So sometimes SpeedGrader is not about grading it. It's just about the convenience of, did my students complete the task? Did they submit what I needed them to do, so I could just see where they're at? So any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
There is a question in the chat about which platform is best for kids to make a portfolio. It depends upon what you want in your portfolio. The first thing that came to mind to me would be Adobe Spark, insofar as Adobe Spark does have a website builder. And so you can bring in all kinds of modalities in that. You can bring in graphics if they're doing like an artistic presentation. I
love that idea.
They can create videos and have that part of, and then they have this whole website that they can create and share with you. If you want them to talk about each element, I would say that there's two different things that they could do. They could do a WeVideo, and essentially WeVideo, you can put images in there, and then they can do a voiceover and they can talk through it. So if they're doing a presentation like that, or additionally, if you do go back to Adobe Spark, there's a very simple one. The only thing, I don't know if this will make sense to you, but the only thing about Adobe Spark when you do the video, it's kind of like the difference between old Google sites and new Google sites. It's so simple. It kind of is maddening about how little it lets you do. So WeVideo lets you do anything. I mean, you can just do anything in WeVideo. Adobe Spark is more for your youngers, or if you really want a simple task for the video part. But the when they're creating a website, really awesome stuff. When they're creating the graphics, really awesome stuff. And my video is, that I put in the chat, it is 9 minutes long. But if you put it on speedy, it walks through
minutes.
all of those different things.
The other tool, and again, unfortunately, it's not actually, it's free, but you can also pay for it, is Book Creator. Book Creator is like freaking amazing to me, because as a free teacher, I can have 30 books. So if I fortunately have only 30 students, then each student gets their own book, and that's their portfolio for the rest of the year. And that's amazing with Book Creator. Now, if you get the paid version, then you can get, I think what's it, 200 or 300 or even 1,000. And Book Creator does have a quote LTI, but it's not. So don't get faked out by their LTI. It's just literally a link to get to Book Creator. But you can use an iframe to embed a Book Creator library that your students have created in Canvas. So that is totally 100% doable. So yeah, I love Book Creator. I think that's probably where I would go for a portfolio, even the free version. And if you're fortunate enough to have less than 30 students, because I think you'll maybe get 40 books. I think you get 40 books.
30. I think
30.
30.
Yeah, I mean, possible. If you've less than 30 students, beautiful. And one of those books could just be an archive of all the books. Like you could potentially recycle that. But anyway, Book Creator is fantastic.
And you can also use Google Slides. I mean, that's another option. You can
totally
add, add videos. You can add images and stuff as well to that. So there's different tools and different reasons to use.
And 100%. If you're a teacher who teaches multiple sections, good luck. Book Creator's not going to work for you with those 30 books. 100% agree with you. The only way that's going to work is that paid version. But yeah, Google Sites is a great feature for portfolios, and especially because it's already in the Google ecosystem. It's safe, right? You have this safe embedded security system. So
one thing I would say, that just an argument against Google Sites, every time I make one, I'm so frustrated because the way it looks like when you're editing it, and then the way it looks like when you publish it, it just
almost
looks different. Oh, no, it just is like all the stuff. And but Adobe Sites, or Adobe, when you do the website on Adobe Spark, it actually keeps that conformity when you're moving stuff around, and it has a lot more movement to it. So
it's more Adobe Spark is free, right?
Right. I've just saw a whole. I was taking some classes this last year, and I saw a whole bunch of educators using Google Sites, and it was just kind of like, you can make good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I would just say Adobe Spark, you can make a lot for the same amount of learning, a lot more beautiful products. Just my 2 cents.
I know that.
And Classics was different. When you had classic Google Sites, and you could toggle to the HTML, and you could see the architecture of your files. I mean, I waited for Google Sites, and they were like, "We have a new release. It's a line in the middle of the page."
Right. I do know that Adobe Spark is free. I do know that they honor districts. I was just trying to look at the website that actually gave that exact space. And so here it just tells you phone number and information. But I know for a fact districts can get an entire Adobe Spark account set up for free. Oh, let's just talk about free and awesome. Canva.
And there was a quick question as you're looking for that. I'll just tell us real quick. So how do you embed a Canvas so students continue adding separate modules asking? So I think what you're asking is what I was referring to earlier. So if you were creating a Google LTI with a spreadsheet, you would make that into an assignment. The assignment you could show up in a module. So it would be whatever, this PowerPoint. And then you would just take the link from that and you could copy it again. I don't know if Chris wants to walk through that. It's a little complicated.
So if I was going to do a module, just click the plus symbol and you said external tool, or you said URL? You
could do that, yeah. Or you can make a page and embed it, or you could do an external tool.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of ways. But I did want to show you real quickly, because we're talking about Adobe Spark. Canva is offering districts across the planet free district-wide Canva account. Our district just got on, I think ours just got turned on 3 weeks ago, where every staff member has a pro Canva account and every student has a pro Canva account. It's not an LTI. Matter of fact, I have a meeting with them today at 4 o'clock to talk about how to get their Canva LTI integration working for Canvas. Because they want it so badly. They know for a fact that once they get this integration working, they are going to be, so I personally, my opinion, it's going to look very similar to Adobe Spark. Just don't say that out loud because they don't like it when I bring in Adobe Spark, but they are already ahead of the game. So anyways, if your district has not gone down the road, I have a contact for you. If you want me to give that to you. The only issue is your district has to set up, again, IT security, and then you have the Canvas side as well. So anyways, that's it in a nutshell for us. I know we're supposed to talk about 30 minutes and we went on and on and on. Feel free to unmute. Feel free to give us a thumbs up.
And I'm just going to steal the screen real quick and show Adobe page real quick. I can't help it.
Do it.
So if those, I'm just saying, so Adobe Spark, when you're building a web page, this is one that I didn't finish or need to do anything with, but you can, if you pan down, it's just like Google Sites where there's a plus button. And if you add things, it gives you options to do different layouts, G slides, photo grids, videos, etc. But it looks a lot better, I would say, and has more robust features than Google Sites, yet still free and still really easy to teach kids.
And I think that's it too. I think, and I agree with Christina's first statement. What is it that you want your students to do?
Into Canvas, sorry.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think what it is what you want your students to do, right? What's that thing you want them to do? How do you want them to submit it to you? Those are the questions I take into account. Adobe Spark is a great feature because of the embed already. Hey guys, submit this week's portfolio, done, right? And you don't have to have them, it's not that hard to go find it and submit it again. And then somebody asked about Canva, so give me a second and I will get you the information for Canva. And
then somebody asked about the Do to Math LTI. I don't think Do to Math is an LTI, it's just awesome. I have something else for math that I could try to throw in there if I make it. Oh.
I'm gonna give this to you right now. This is the best. If you want Canva for your district, you're gonna need to have whoever your IT person is, reach out to Jason. That's Jason's email right there. You can say Chris from Beaverton. He likes getting irritated, I think. No, actually, he doesn't get irritated. He just knows that I've put his name in for so much. And Canvas just recently did an amazing Canvas work YouTube video. So anyways, your district IT person, talk with them. Who's already talked to Carla Wade at the district, at the ODE about getting a statewide process. I don't know where we're at with that, but yeah, can you put the link into Spark so they can embed their work? So I think you're saying, can they take their work from Spark and put it back to Canvas, or are you saying, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, you can submit it directly to Canvas.
Yeah, so directly to Canvas, yeah.
So, I mean, as a portfolio, if you were going to have them use that Adobe Spark, could they take the links from the work that they'd done to build their Spark website so that it was all their work in one place, whether it was links or embedded or?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like you're saying, they have a collection of things from somewhere else and they just want to use it they just want to put it in Adobe Spark, right?
Yeah, just so that they had some kind of digital portfolio that was everything all in one place, totally. Regardless.
Like, put a picture in and put a link to it. I mean, I personally think of it like a Google Doc. A Google Doc is literally a web page. That's what Google Doc is, right? So Adobe Spark, the page is much the same, but the flexibility, the ability to put in videos and pictures is so much more robust in Adobe Spark. But yeah, you can collect all my learning from wherever I want to go and then just use Adobe Spark as the main place that I want to show off my work, right? So
when you said, Christina, that it was a little bit more on the elementary side, was that mostly just the video side of Adobe Spark?
Yeah, just the video. Just the video.
Website.
No.
Okay.
And then you asked if Canva for the entire country. They're giving it away. I'm telling you right now, we've got a 3-year free agreement. I don't know if they'll change their plan later on down the road, but right now for the next 3 years, we have Canva for free in our district. So I think they're giving it away. And Adobe Spark, same thing. And here's the secret. Why give away Adobe Spark and Canva for free? Because when your students graduate from high school and they need to start getting into creativity or whatever, they're going to have to purchase Adobe or Canva to do that awesome stuff, because that's the reality. And so that's what, I mean, he even told me right up front, I said, what do you guys get out of this? He goes, we get customers for life. And that is literally it. So
my district we had Canva for free last year, and I teach at a middle school and spent a lot of times working with it with the kids, and they've decided to only do high school next year, which I'm very frustrated with.
that doesn't make
And
any
I
sense.
thought it was a money. No, it makes no sense.
It is totally free. I think the only restrictions would be potentially somebody having to put in the extra work to say, how are our students authenticating into Canva, right? And that's where your IT would come into play. I mean, there is no downside that I see from Canva as to why a district would say only our high school kids are going to use it. It is safe. They've cited security. They've signed off on the student data privacy for Beaverton. So that means other districts in Oregon can use the same thing and get their agreements done, easy peasy. And there's a difference between Canva and Canva for Education. Canva, you type in girls with bikinis, you'll find inappropriate photos. In Canva for Education, there's a really strong, safe, secure net or safety protocol on there, so that all that stuff, because originally it was a no. And the reason why is because Canva for Education wasn't known as much about getting that safe search on. So it's been put in place. They put on the filters. So yeah, Angela, I find out, ask about, say, hey, why? It's free. So,
and I don't know
yeah,
if whoever was looking for math stuff is still there, but I put a document that I had shared with my math department at one point, and it has a whole bunch of good math resources. They're not all LTIs, but they're just fun stuff. So if you want that, it's out there too.
good.
Was it not free, do you know, or has it been free before?
No, they just about 3 or 4 months ago, they went on this journey. And so we were one of the first districts in the country to get this set up district wide. So there was a difference last year during the pandemic. There was a Canva for Education that they were trying to give to teachers, but they had I don't think they were signing any student privacy agreement. And that was the problem back then. Now they're happy to sign it. They've signed it with us. So that means if they sign with Beaverton, any district in the state could go ahead and piggyback off of our agreement.
Yeah, I'm in Virginia, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Virginia, Angela, I see there'll be no problem. I mean, I don't know what your rules are for student data privacy agreements, but there is a consortium where the entire Western states have all said, this is our agreement. So most likely, my opinion would be contact somebody in your IT and say, hey, Canva is free for the entire district. There's no strings attached. I'd like to get it for the whole district set up. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm looking for Desmos. There's no LTI in Canvas and Desmos. The best you can do is just embed it, or put it in your page. Awesome. Well, thanks, friends, for hanging out. Totally appreciate it. Christina, as always, is always awesome because she always has so much to show and share. So, oh, I'm going to stop recording.